Well, you saw the thumbnail, frog it or finish it. I have seen this as a video concept across YouTube videos, and I thought I probably should do the same. If for no other reason than I now have a bag full of objects that are unfinished, and I don't know whether or not I'm going to finish them. And so I thought it would be great if I could get all of you, enlist your help in getting me to finalize if I'm going to frog or finish. So let's take a look at what I've got. But before we start, I'm Maxine. If you are new here, thank you so much for clicking on this video. I hope that you will consider subscribing and hanging out with us. And if you are returning, thank you so much for coming back. I really appreciate it. So today I have some items here, some objects here that I have been working on, have worked on, have abandoned. And honestly, everything in this bag, and truly everything in this bag, has been abandoned and has been sitting for surely more than 6 months. And so here's what's really interesting about that is because if you have been with me since the start of my videos a month ago, then you know that I've only been crocheting seriously for a year. I learned when I was 8, but you know, like a lot of kids, we give things up and we don't return to it. And then last year I returned to it because my goddaughter was having a baby, and that baby is now here, and the love of my life, my grand goddaughter. I'm her Gigi. And so I picked up the hook because of her, and I haven't put it down since. And so some of these items were made shortly after I made several blankets for her and some other items that I was like, oh my gosh, I've got the crochet bug, and why didn't anyone tell me about this sooner, that I should have returned to crochet, because it's amazing. So here are some of the items that I've made. Well, I think I'll start with this one since I started talking about my grand goddaughter. Okay, and I like calling her my grand goddaughter. I mean, I guess I could call her my great goddaughter, but I don't know, grand sounds better because I want to be her second grandmother. Okay, so I had made this little hat for her, as a matter of fact. And it's so funny to look at this now because she hasn't been this little in so long. But also look how long the head is. I didn't know what I was doing. I watched a tutorial and I just remember being super confused the whole time I was watching it. Here's one of, oh no, that's not a booty. Where is it? Ah, here are the booties. Oh my goodness, if you all could see this little girl, I mean, she's 8 months now, so she's not this tiny anymore, but she once was. And so the boots are 2 different sizes, and which I guess isn't that unusual, even for the more seasoned crochet artists, because it is all handmade, right? And so now I have a better understanding and acceptance of even that. It's handmade. There may be some slight differences. But here's where things really went south. So I called myself making her oh, and the yarn is still attached. So you see, still attached to the ball. I called myself making her a onesie. And I was like pretty proud of myself, right? Like, here's the bottom. I followed a tutorial and the tutorial was great. I mean, I felt pretty successful. And I even am the one who decided to be a little fancy and add the ruffles, because at that point I had learned how to ruffle. And I thought, well, ruffles will be really, really, really pretty on this. And I really liked the yarn, you know, I really liked the yarn. I loved how it ombre'd, but I did not love how it frogged. Oh my gosh, first of all, this yarn would split like crazy, and frogging was an absolute nightmare. And so I'm using, or was using, I don't know what happened to my band, but here it is. This is Loops and Threads, and it's one of their facets yarns. At least I think this is facets. Yeah, it is. It's the facets. So if you know anything about that yarn, it can be difficult to work with, but especially difficult to frog. because of how the yarn is wound. So you might be saying, but Maxine, that's looking pretty decent, just finish it. Well, so as I was creating this, I started, sewing it up and realizing this is the only opening. How on earth would you put a baby in here? Like, what are you doing? How are you? You gotta suffocate the kid. Like, how would you even get this on a child? And how would you get it off? Like, how would you get it off? And then the arm is just sticking straight out. Like, look at that. There's no gravity. There's no gravitational pull to this arm. Oh God. It's just so funny to me to look at this. So, oh goodness. And then I thought, well, I'll finish it and we can just put it on one of her doll babies. Because of course, I'll buy her a doll. I'll make her a doll. There'll be a doll at some point. And so I can just put this on a doll baby. But I don't think I even want to do that. I think I'm just going to hold on to this in its state. And I'm going to leave it like this so that, I don't know, 18 years from now, when she's on her way to college, I can show her this and say, you were once this little, my pumpkin, my butterbean. That's what I call her, my butterbean. You were once this little. And show her where things began. Oh my goodness. Insane. Insane. Yeah. So I think we all know what I need to do with this. We're going to call it frog it, but we're really not going to frog it. I'm just going to cut the yarn and try to salvage it because this is actually a lot of, this is practically a full skein. And so, or a full ball. So I don't want to toss it. I am going to have to wind it up though, for sure, because it's a mess. But I don't want to, I don't want to frog it. But we're going to put it in the frog it category for the sake of this video. But it's just going to lie in state. It's going to lie in state, like I said. She'll be 18 and looking at it and laughing. All right. So, once I started learning how to make hats, I made so many of them. In fact, I made a ton of hats to be donated, which felt really good to do that. But I made a ton of hats, and one of the hats I made when I first learned about cat beanies was this one. Now, for it to be two granny squares that are sewn together with this really pretty yarn, by the way, this is one of the Karen yarns, but yeah, I think it's a Karen ombre yarn, I believe. So it's very pretty. It's actually very pretty. And then I decided to, outline it in white. Does it look like a hat? No. I'm going to put it on because the whole point was for it to be a cat beanie. And so it does have the, the cat ears, because that's what happens when you try to put something round in a square, right? It does naturally create these ears. But I don't know. Is it weird? Like, I don't know. I've never worn it out the house. I made it and I thought, this doesn't look like a hat. It doesn't look like a hat to me. I'm going to actually now even put it on the other side, because the other side, because of the ombre, it shows up a little differently. Okay, so I'm looking in the viewfinder. I don't know. I guess it doesn't look horrible. I don't know. I don't know. It feels a little weird. It feels, and I like cat beanies. I've actually made several since this one, and I won't say I've perfected it. I don't think I've perfected it, but they look good. And I've actually made cat beanies for other people who love them. So yeah, but I don't know. This one's kind of weird to me. So let me know what your thoughts are. You think I should frog this? You think I should frog it, or should I keep it and actually rock it next winter? What do you think? Let me know. Let me know. I'll leave it on for inspiration. You all can picture it, visualize it, maybe with like a white vest. I like to wear a lot of vests in the winter. So like maybe a white puffy vest with this, since I've rimmed it in white. I edged it in white. I don't know. I'm going to leave it on for a little bit. I'm probably going to boil because it's like 89 degrees outside, but anything for YouTube. Anything for YouTube. I'll boil for you. Okay. So, this was actually a really good tutorial. And funny enough, it's the exact same yarn. because I was loving working with the yarn. It was super easy to work with. It's a weight 4. Like I said, a Karen, like ombre yarn, and I just loved the colorway. I just thought these were so pretty, so I just ended up using the exact same yarn for this project, and I made this slipper booty. And it was such a, God, it was such a, it's so funny to look back on it now because it was such a weird video in that it required like creating this very flat, almost looking like a fish, right, sort of panel. And then you had to sew it together. So you can see the seam right there. You had to sew it together. And then you had to like create the heel and sew the heel together. And it, for a new crocheter, it was just so weird. But I didn't want to give up, and I'm so glad I didn't, because the tutorial was actually really good. And I was so proud of myself when I was finished, because as I was working, I thought, this looks nothing like hers, nothing. And it did. I just couldn't see it. So that's the other thing I realized. You have to trust the process. The finished product will look like the finished product if you trust the process and you're following directions, obviously. So I was really pleased with my one little slipper sock. It's a little too wide. So of course I didn't understand ribbing back then. So, you know, I made the ribbing way too wide, but it fits my foot. The problem is there's only one. And then I just sort of lost steam. I lost steam, and I thought, well, I'll just put it in my bag and I'll come back to it eventually. And it never happened. I remember making this like last October, and it just never happened. And now it's April. So I could make the other sock, you know, the other slipper sock. I would put it on and show you all, but yeah, I'm not going to do that. That requires a bit of yoga on this couch that I don't think you nor I want to see right now. So what do you think? Do you think I should frog this? And do you think I should frog this and make something else? Or do you think I should just make the other slipper? What do you think? I know it's kind of cute. I mean, this doesn't, I mean, it's not going to fit. It's way too big at the top. So I suppose I could take the top. Well, I don't know. You let me know. What do you think? Let me know. Okay. So then I started getting into headbands, because now it's getting cold. It's cold outside. What are we making for colder weather? And so now I started getting into headbands, and I learned this method, which is the herringbone method. And I think this is stunning. I think it's so pretty. Can you already spot the problem though? Who is this going to fit? It's so small. It's so small. So I had even tried to put it on the baby's head. Now, mind you, at that point, she would have been all of what, 3 months old? And it was so tight on her head. She does have a big head. But it's to hold her brain. She's massive brain, massive brain. And so it didn't even fit the baby. And so I thought, oh gosh. But I didn't want to frog it, because I was like, oh my gosh, it's so pretty. And it was my very first headband, and it looks professionally made. Like, come on. Does that not look professionally made? I think it totally looks professionally made. So I was pretty proud of this, but it's just sitting in a bag. And so at this point, I think we know the answer. I should frog it, shouldn't I? And start over. But do you not see how perfect it looks? But this speaks to the tutorial. For sure. The tutorial was fantastic. I think we know the answer. Oh, I have to frog it. Okay, so far, we have a... I'm going to wait for you all to tell me what to do. I'm going to wait. I know in the comments people will tell me, what do you think I should do? Frog or finish? This one I'm going to decide that I need to frog it. As much as I enjoy looking at the gorgeous stitches, I can recreate this, and I do know that now. I can absolutely recreate this just in an appropriate size, and so I'm going to frog it. So I'm going to put it over here. The hat on my head, we're still deciding, so we're going to hold on to that. And then I'll move a little bit faster, because this is another, and this is even worse. This one's even worse. I made another headband. So at this point, or earband, whichever way you want to think about it. At this point, I still hadn't mastered the, oh, you should measure. Like, there was no measuring tape involved in any of this. I just pulled out yarn that I liked, and I really like this yarn. I think it's so funky. So you all see, like, I really love, like, short stripes. I just love it. And I love a good pattern, and I think this is a beautiful pattern. So I just wanted to use it. And I wanted to do the same herringbone again. And so I made another one. Didn't measure a thing. I'm pretty sure she said to measure. I'm pretty sure. Matter of fact, I'm going to take pretty out of there. I'm sure she said to measure. And I thought, now I go absolutely nowhere without my measuring tape. To the point where I walk around with a measuring tape in my purse. Because, well, I often have my craft bag with me. But in the event I don't have my craft bag with me, and I'm just out and someone says, you know, oh, can you make me? I'm going to whip out my measuring tape. Because we're gonna go in the bathroom and we're going to measure you. So here's another failed attempt at, you know, at an earband that actually could fit someone. But in terms of its construction, it looks really good. But I am going to frog it. So this is another frog. Okay. And then, oh my gosh, this one kind of hurts my heart. Because I got so excited. Again, the baby. Like, she's my reason for breathing at this point. I wanted to make her a winter sweater. And so I made her a hat. Matter of fact, I made a hat out of this very same yarn, which this is the Speckles by Red Heart. Super Saver Speckles. And I think it is so pretty. And her mom loved it. And she said, can you make something out of that? And I, absolutely. You know, I'm going to make her a sweater and a hat. So I finally made a hat that fit, by the way. So she wore the hat. But I did not give her the sweater because I was following a tutorial, of course. And I had the general body down. But there was just something not quite right. And at the time, I hadn't made any real wearables yet. And so I didn't truly understand the construction of the sweater. I was just sort of following the tutorial. And I remember, I can't think of her name. I see her face. But her tutorial was great. It wasn't her. It was all me as a new beginner, right? As a beginner crocheter. I just didn't get it. And so for not getting it, I guess it's not horrible, but let me tell you something. I could not give this to the baby. Not to mention, I mean, yes, I would have washed it and I would have softened it up, but I have never in my life felt yarn this horrible. This feels like a Brillo pad. Now, I will say, I would have not argued, but I would have stated rather strongly that people need to be more forgiving of Red Heart. I've not come across anything that is as abrasive as people have said. Oh, I'm so glad I never opened my mouth to say those words. Because when I tell you this feels like a Brillo pad, it is so stiff. It's just awful. So I would have done everything in my power to soften this up to give it to her. But once I realized that the sweater just wasn't sweatering the way I wanted it to, I just gave up. I gave up and said, I'll just try again. And so I just want to show you, I don't know if you all can see that, how the back construction is uneven. It looks completely different. I got very confused about where to stitch. So like, and I don't know if you can see, like you've got this over here, which I think are short rows. I think that's what they're called. If they're not, please correct me. Because I think the short row language is really in knitting. And then over here, it's just round. It doesn't, I don't know, I got lost. I got lost in the sauce and was making all kinds of mistakes. So I opted to just stop and not give it to her. But I will say, the colorway, this speckle is so pretty that I would love to try this again now. And I feel confident in starting over and getting a new skein of yarn. Like, I'm not even willing to use the rest of the yarn. It is horrible. But I've actually like squeezed the Charmin of this yarn in Walmart recently, and blow me down. It was so soft. Oh my gosh. And all I could think was, well, the critics are telling the truth. the people out here who've said, oh, there's been such an improvement with the speckle yarn, I thought, pisha, no way, that yarn is horrible. You'll never catch me in that yarn again. But no, they're telling the truth. Oh my gosh, it's so much softer and it's gonna be nice to work with. So I'm willing to try again. She's bigger now. I know how to make a sweater now. So I can definitely make her a sweater next winter. I won't do it now, but next winter I will try this again. So will I frog this though? You know what? I think I will frog it, and I'm gonna donate it. Not because I want to give someone horrible yarn, but because there will be someone, I'm sure, at the thrift store who will see this, love it, and one of two things will happen. They'll see it, they'll love it, and they'll think, oh great, yarn that's obviously not that great, and I can just practice on it if they're a new crochet artist. Or someone who is familiar sees it and says, no big deal, I know how to soften it up, I'm gonna use it. And either way, I think that's an incredible win. So I will frog this, and we will put this to good use in a thrift bag. All right. This is a bucket hat. It's still attached to the yarn, so that's where the yarn is. So I called myself making a black bucket hat last summer out of cotton. This is cotton yarn, and I believe this is probably, it feels like it's Lily's Sugar and Cream. And the hat just, I don't know what happened. I think I waited too long to start the, well, now I do know. At the time I didn't know, but as I'm looking at it, I love that my knowledge has grown. I waited too long to start the brim. I'm gonna take this off. I'm actually getting a little saucy anyway. It's a little warm. I'm gonna take that one off. We still have to decide what to do with that one. That's gonna go in the neutral corner. And I'm gonna put this on so you see what I mean. First of all, there's all this material up here. It's tight in here, right? The brim is below my eyebrows. I'm gonna take my glasses off so you all can get a good look. Like, I don't know what that's giving, but it is not giving what I wanted to give. First of all, this looks crazy, and I can't pull it down any further. I mean, because if I did, it would have to be like, what character was this? Is this Cousin It? Am I now Cousin It? So you can see that this does not work. Even if I were going to give this hat to someone, what someone? This does not fit. So I think we know what we have to do. We have to frog it. And so what's good about this is when I'm sitting down taking my breaks, because I'm notorious for just crocheting all night, right? Crocheting all night and then saying, oh, you didn't take a hand break. And I don't want to do that because I see so many people on YouTube talk about how their wrists hurt, their fingers hurt, and I really don't want that. And I have had some pain here and there. So I'm going to leave these out and let them be an eyesore in my living room so that while I'm sitting, I can say, you know what, frog that while you're taking a hand break. Just frog it, right? I'm thinking, I'm using this brain. I'm thinking. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay. What else is in here? What else is in here? Oh, okay. I have... Oh, well, let me show you this first because this is the same yarn. So again, another where I was in love with, now you can actually see the skein. I didn't even realize this was under here. You can see the skein. I just love it. I don't remember where this came from, but I saw this and, oh, I do. This was, so if you saw one of my past videos, I mentioned that I had done a Temu yarn haul. This was when I first started crocheting because it was budget yarn, all the things. And I had seen videos where people had done yarn hauls from Temu and I thought they have yarn, and anyway, so that's how that happened. That's how I ended up with this, and I loved it. I absolutely just loved it. This is not going to be for everybody, I know that. But for me, it was a win when I saw it. And so, as you saw with the other item I made from this yarn, it was an ear warmer or headband. So I thought, you know what, a Newsboy cap would be so good in this. So I started a Newsboy cap, and The tutorial was fantastic. I don't know if you're going to be able to see the stitch definition here because it's so busy. And so that's another thing I learned. But I don't know if you're going to be able to see the stitch definition, but it's actually really nice. Like, I remember that was when I first learned to do like a front post, a double crochet, and I remember seeing the FPDC and I was like, what in the world is that? So I watched her tutorial and was making it, and I was having a great time figuring out how to do the front post. And then I don't know what happened. I think I just got caught up making other stuff, and then I don't know, the moment passed. And so I think this is definitely a frog, because if for no other reason, I still think this could be a really pretty something. I just don't know if it's going to be the Newsboy cap, or maybe it is. Maybe it is. I don't know. But regardless, I don't even remember what this, like how to do this stitch. And it's so busy that I don't think I can figure it out, like what I was doing. So I'm just going to frog it and start over. And who knows, maybe it'll show up as a Newsboy cap anyway. But I am going to frog this one. Do you see? Let me just... This is another reason why it's important to have a bunch of stitch markers. Because, look at this. This stitch marker has been in here for the past like 8 months. What if I only had like 10 stitch markers? Now I'd only have 9. And let's be real, I'd only have 2, because every now and again I find a stitch marker randomly on my kitchen floor, on my living room floor. I mean, it's kind of crazy. In my car. Like, how did you get in here? But I do take my yarn everywhere I go. And so the last thing I have to show you is the one that hurts me the most. When I tell you it's like a dagger in the heart, because I already know the answer. I already know the answer. I know. I'm going to tell you. I know I have to frog this because I have turned this upside down, right side up. I have done everything possible to figure out how I can salvage this. So, this is supposed to be a Bolero. And if it looks familiar, it is because in my pattern roundup, this is one of the pictures. This is one of the tutorials that I said, run, don't walk. This tutorial is fantastic. And if you decide to go with the same type of rainbow, you'll have something absolutely fantastic. This is absolutely stunning. Like, I chose the color combinations. I just grabbed a bunch of yarn and just started, following her tutorial. And now that I'm looking at the time, I remember it was a year ago. It was a year ago. And at the time, I had learned the granny stitch. And that's what this is. And it seemed so complicated. And so that's just kind of, fun to look back and realize that I thought that was so complicated. And then I realized, wow, that's actually really cool that you can put these 3 stitches in here and now you've got this like new shape, especially when you cover it, because now you've got this like new shape. But this is gorgeous, no doubt about it, it's gorgeous. Here's what the problem is, because you're probably saying, why do you need to frog that? Finish it, girl. Oh, I wish I could. This is what the problem is, okay? This is what the problem is. Do you see how long this is? So I did measure, okay, maybe not with a measuring tape, but I did measure. I did one of these. I did the wingspan. I did that. Because that's what she did. I think it was Agnes of AC Crochets. Fantastic tutorial. Her channel is fantastic. She makes the nicest clothes. It's not her, it's me. And she probably did bring out a measuring tape. She probably did bring out the measuring tape now that I think about it, because she always does. But of course, being the newbie and the I know better, just stubborn and ridiculous. So I made it too long. And so the whole time I'm making it, though, in my defense, if there is such a defense, I thought it was going to fold in half. But what I didn't realize was if it folds in half, where are your arms going to go, right? Because if you fold it in half, only one side is going to be open. And that did not occur to me. This side would be closed. I didn't know that. So I thought, oh yeah, I'm just gonna go all the way across my wingspan, because why wouldn't I? And I can't even, like, the whole thing can't even go. Matter of fact, I ended up making it past my, I'm saying wingspan like I'm a bird. I made it past my arm span, because what I also didn't know is that acrylic yarn stretches. And so when I tell you this reaches well past my arms, I mean, it's just ridiculous. Like, you would have to be 7 feet tall for this to be for your arm, right? So many problems. So I still didn't realize that there was a problem. I even made the section for the neck, right? Because now we're about to make the back. And that's when I realized that I had a problem, because I put it around my neck and I thought, oh my goodness, I'm almost done. And then I said, wait a minute, how on earth, let me show you all, right? My arm is out straight, and now let me lift this up so you can see where my hand is. Look at that. Look at that. It's ridiculous. And so I was like, oh, am I supposed to like sew it together like this? Am I supposed to? You should have seen it. I was trying everything under the sun. I even contacted my friend in North Carolina who crochets. I sent her videos of this, and oh my God, bless her, bless her. She said, you did such a great job, because she knew I had just started, and she was so complimentary. And she didn't want to tell me to frog it because she thought I would start crying, and I probably would have. Because I actually think I did. I think I choked up as I was talking to her. Like, oh, I've used so much yarn, and oh, I don't know what to do. And I think she just didn't have it in her heart to tell me to frog it. So she said, why don't you just put it aside for a little while and then revisit it, and then think about like how you can repair it. I don't think she ever used the word frog. And so, Tracy, if you ever see this video, thank you so much for trying to spare me, because I think I would have started bawling, because this is like so much yarn. And not only is it so much yarn, but I'm sure you all can tell, I kept color switching. I was so into this project. I kept color switching. And so now that I even understand truly what frogging is, I'm like it's still a nightmare to me to think about frogging this, but I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to. And so here's what I've decided, that once I did this video, I would do a little bit at a time. Maybe, you know, I just frog one row. So for instance, you know, there's pink at the bottom, I would just frog the pink, ball it up, put this back in the bag, and walk away. Come back in a day or two when my heart doesn't have as big a hole in it and frog the next row, and so on and so forth, until I have all my yarn back and I can just start over, because I do want to make this. I do want to recreate it. I think this is absolutely beautiful. And I mean, like, come on. And now that I know what I'm doing, oh my goodness, this is going to be amazing. So if for no other reason, just for that excitement and that joy of knowing that I finished this, and I would love to be able to say this, because I'm pretty sure it was AC Crochets. I would love to be able to send her a picture on Instagram to say, I learned this from you and thank you so much. So anyway, that's it. So what do we have? We have one, we know we need to frog this. We need to frog the Newsboy cap, the sweater, so that's 3. We need to frog the Cousin It hat, that's 4. And we need to frog the 2 ear bands. Now, these 2 will be easy. This is a quick, just pull it apart and get over it. And actually, this will be easy too, because this is cotton yarn. It'll pull right out. I think the others may be a little bit more trippy, but okay, I'll deal with it. So this is what I'm frogging. This is kind of a lot. I'm gonna reclaim a lot of yarn. So I'm gonna end up reclaiming a lot of yarn, okay? And then I guess I'm keeping this. Are you serious with that? Oh, well, and you all are gonna tell me what I'm doing with this, right? So, oh God, I'm already laughing. I'm laughing because this is so funny to me. Okay, so right now, this is this is what we're keeping. This is what we're keeping. My little slipper sock. This is gonna have to be my thumbnail because this is ridiculous. This is so ridiculous. I love it. Oh my gosh. There's nothing better than laughing at yourself. Oh my god, it's like food for the soul, you know, laughing at yourself. So yeah, I guess this is what I'm keeping. Unless you all tell me to frog the hat and do something else with it. But I guess I'm keeping the slipper and I'm going to actually make another one. So but that's not going to happen. I know for a fact that's not going to happen until it gets cool out, because with it being so warm, I'm not going to want to make a slipper because I'm not going to wear it. So it'll be a while before I make it, but that's it. That is it. So I guess we're frogging the majority of what was in my bag, and I guess that feels right. I should frog it. It's been sitting around for almost a year, a lot of these, if not a year. So I should let them go. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope you laughed a little bit. Hope you laughed. And if you have any thoughts about anything that I've decided to frog, please let me know. Have you frogged something? Okay, here's really what I want to know. Do you have something in your stash right now, in your whip pile, that you know good and well you need to frog? Because I knew that this needed to be frogged. It's been a year and I'm finally going to accept it. What's that thing for you? Let me know. Again, thank you so much for showing up for me, for showing up for this video. I appreciate it. And I'll see you in the next one.